All right. I'm sure by the time this video is out, the spoiler embargo for Justice League Dark Apokolips War will have been lifted, seeing as there is a live tweet thread with cast and crew, but I'm gonna try to keep as spoiler-free as possible for our review because I really feel like people need to watch this movie and experience it for themselves. I'm gonna try to ramble through my thoughts without spoiling anything. It's gonna be difficult. So back in 2013, I was still living in Brunswick, Georgia, which is huge in the news right now for not good reasons. Going to college, my friend Marquand kept trying to push Flashpoint on me. I think we ended up watching it at some point before I moved out of town, and that movie really hit me. He kept telling me that it was the best comic book movie ever made, but I didn't really dig further into the DC animated universe original movies until a lot later on. As most of you know, we did the DCAMU timeline video last year. That was the first time I watched most of these movies, and I've been, kind of living with these characters in my head now in the year since. We've gone through Batman Hush, we've gone through Wonder Woman Bloodlines, and now we're here. Before watching this movie, I decided that for the sake of my fiance, who hasn't seen all of these movies, that we would marathon through them all. It really gave this movie more of an emotional toll. I feel like a lot of stuff was kind of telegraphed in the trailers and all the press coming up for it, and I thought that that was, that they were giving away too much, that they were spoiling the entire movie. Oh my god, was I wrong. The stuff in the trailers, the stuff in all the press only really scratched the surface of what was going on. All of the death, the emotional aspects, the Raven attempted suicide, kryptonite tattoo on Superman, all that kind of stuff really was only a surface scratch. There's so much going on in this movie. I continuously had to wipe tears out of my eyes. I had to pick my jaw up off the floor. I was just amazed. It's crazy to think about just how well this tied together all of the previous movies. It really picks up plot points from almost everything. I think maybe, like, if you're going through a marathon and you wanted to lighten the load a little bit, maybe you could skip Constantine City of Demons and maybe you could skip Batman Hush. But I think other than that, this brings together plot points from almost everything. It brings in the Suicide Squad. It brings in the Teen Titans, aspects of the Dark Side story that we saw going back to Justice League War, that we saw come back in Reign of the Superman. It brings in Trigon from Justice League vs. Teen Titans. We see the expanded Titan roster, including Wonder Girl that we see at the end of the Teen Titan Judas contract. There's so much going on in this movie. They took almost every possible risk that they could, and it paid off. I wish this is what the DC, like the live action DC had been building to. It's insane. I do think that maybe the ending might end up being a bit controversial to some fans. Some folks might see it as a cop-out. I see it as kind of book ending and mirroring kind of where this universe started off at. But I can't get too much further into that without, dropping spoilers on you. One of the things that I've been thinking about is that these movies, they're on a 2-year timetable as far as production goes typically. So a movie that released this year, they would have started in 2018. So essentially, if you think about it, the amount of movies that they release within 2 years is the amount of movies they could be working on simultaneously at one point. So they were working on this at the same time they were working on Hush, that they were working on Bloodlines, that they were working on Reign of the Superman. For the crew to have that much on their plate at the same time, more or less, it's just jaw-droppingly astounding what we ended up with. Now that this brings this universe to an end, we will be doing an updated, definitive timeline video of everything. I'm going to be going on to the Kino Lefter podcast to discuss the movie in more spoilery goodness. So if you want to subscribe to, Kino Lefter wherever you get your podcast, do that. You'll get to hear me speak more on specific plot points. But yes, watch this movie, rent it on Vudu, on iTunes, on wherever you get your digital movies for what, the $3, $4, $5 that it costs. Buy it in full, spend the $20. You're gonna want to watch this again and again. There's so much going on. I want to watch it again tonight. Definitely support this movie. It's fantastic. It's a great way to end this chapter of the DC animated movie line and really pay respect to that continuity that they've been working on for what, the past 6, 7, 8 years, however long it is. I don't remember. Watch this movie. It's the best. best of all of these. I know that there's like a section of the fandom that's just like, these movies aren't good, this isn't what I want out of... And I get it, we're all allowed to have our own opinions, but I also believe that that's just a section of the fandom and that more people than not enjoy these. It's a lot easier to find hate because it's a lot easier to speak hate, regardless of what your opinions are on any of the past DC animated like movie universe movies, this continuity of movies. This one, I feel like, might be the best comic book movie of all time. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. Subscribe to us here so that you don't miss the upcoming timeline video, and go check out the Kino Lefter podcast. Get my more in-depth views over there. That being said, I'm gonna go work on that timeline stuff. You guys have a great day, and don't forget, King Shark is a shark!